Today we're loading up a ladder test for 44 Magnum, and that's coming up next here on Jesse B Outdoors Reloading. Welcome back everybody, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment down below if you like videos like this. Well, this video is going to be a first of a lot of things. In this video, we're doing a ladder test, which is going to be my first ladder test for 44 Magnum, which is the first time I'm reloading for this. That's why we are doing the ladder test on it. And we're going to be shooting these in my Ruger RedHawk, which will be the first shots that we're running through it. And this is going to also be the first time that I'm using load data out of the Hornady book, because I just bought one. So there's a lot of firsts in this video. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring you guys in. I'm going to show you the components we're going to use, and then we're going to get these loaded up. And then at the end of the video, we'll take them outside and run them over the chronograph and see how they do. So let's go ahead and get started. Now for the components we're going to use today, what we're going to use is, of course, we're doing Magnum, so we're using Hodgdon H110. We're going to be doing 4 different ladders of this. Then for bullets, we are going to be using Hornady XTPs. These are a very common bullet. They're a very good bullet in everything I ever tried them in. I went to my local farm store and picked these up the day I got my Ruger RedHawk, so I could load these up, so I got something to reload. So that's what we're going to be using them for bullets there. And you can see these are 240 grains. And then for primers, we are just going to use Winchester large pistol primers. And then for brass, we are using Starline brass, and these are pre-primed, so my dies are going to be set up a little bit different. If you guys didn't check the video out, I'll leave a card up above here where I pre-primed these on my RCBS bench primer. So that's all the components on it. So now, like I said, this is going to be a bunch of firsts. This is going to be the first time I am using Hornady reloading dies. Usually, if you guys could see up here, I don't think you can in this camera view, but you might in others, I have nothing but Lee and RCBS dies. So I figured I'd try the Hornady dies out for the first time. That's another first on here. And then, of course, we're using the RCBS Rock Chucker. And then back over here, I have my Frankfurt Arsenal IntelliDropper, and that's what we're going to be dropping the powder with. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we got to do is we got to size all 20 of these, so we'll get that started here. I'm going to flip the priming system over on this since I'm not going to use it. And we're going to run these up and size all these here. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to double these up a little bit. Try not to get the numbers mixed up because I have the charges written on them. So what we'll do is we'll flip these so they're facing up. That way I know where they're at. But we'll get these sized here. These Starline brass has been fired before. I got this part of the deal that I got with the gun, so they're not once fired, so we definitely need to size them. And also, if you've got new brass, you should size it anyways. Once again, I'll leave a card up above. I got a video on why you should do that, even with new brass. So we have got 10 of these knocked out here real quick. I am really excited to do 44 Magnum. I've only shot 44 Magnum twice. Once was in a, what I'm going to call a Remlin. It was a Marlin lever gun that my brother-in-law has. And then he also has a Taurus Raging Hunter in 44 Magnum. So those are the only times I've ever shot 44 Magnum. And truthfully, I have never shot either one of those guns a lot. I think I shot 1 cylinder in the Taurus and 1 meg full I shot in the Marlin, and that's the only experience I have with 44 Magnum. So I'm really excited for this. Of course, when he got that Raging Judge, that's what got my itch of wanting to get a 44 mag. I was like, man, that's kind of cool. And I already have my Ruger Blackhawk Bisley and my Ruger GP100, so I figured the Ruger RedHawk would be a great addition. So now we got all these sized, let's move off the flaring. Now with the Hornady flaring die, this is weird because on most dies you turn the top to turn the flare piece to go down, with the Hornady, you actually got to move the whole die body down to do that. Just something a little bit different I thought I'd tell you guys, because like I said, I've never used these dies before. I actually went and set these up last night, so they should be set up pretty good. So what we'll do is I'll pick that up real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, just for the newbies, in case you don't know, we got to flare this case because the bullet won't fit down into the case, so we got to flare it. So now we'll run this one through the flare die. We will flare it. And now you can see that bullet sits down in there perfect, so we can seat these bullets, and that's why we got to flare them. So we will go through the 20 of these real quick here. Doing the same thing. I will try to double them up like this to make it go a little bit quicker. And then I don't want to mix my brass up here because like I said, I got written on them the charges to keep track of them. And since I'm only doing a ladder with 5, I'm putting 1 in and then I'm doing 2. Because when you do 2 like this, it makes it go a little bit quicker. Then we'll pick our other 2 up here and knock these out. So if you guys reload for 44 Magnum, leave a comment down below. What's your favorite bullets? What's your favorite powders? Let me know all that. I'd like to know. Like I said, we're using H110 today because I had that for a 357 Magnum. So I was like, hey, we might as well start out trying that. I know some people like using little gun or IMR 4227, I think it is their Magnum powder. Another one I might try, just because I've made some really nice 10mm and 45 Colt rounds, is I do have accurate number 9. That seems to be a pretty good powder too. And then another thing I want to know is leave a comment down below. I see a lot of the loads are just calling for large pistol primers, which I'm glad because I have large pistol primers. Let me know if you just run the large pistol primers or if you run large pistol Magnum primers. Leave that down below. But now we got these all flared. Let's move on to the next step. Now we're moving on to put the powder charges into the cases here. So what we're going to do, our first round, I've got written right on the case here. Don't mind my horrible handwriting, but I have 22.1 on there. So we're going to come over to the Intel dropper and put 22.1 in there. And that's going to be what we're going to set as our target. Now it's stable. We're going to throw our first charge here. I've already calibrated this. And if you guys don't know, on the Frankfurt Arsenal, there's a powder calibration. I've already done that before the video, just so we don't have to wait on that. And you can see it goes pretty quickly here. There we go, it beeps, so that one's done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour that in there. And then I'm going to wait for it to go to stable. Looks like I got this on there a little crooked. Let's put that on there better. There we go, stable. And then we're just running this through. Now, some people leave these wide open so they can look at them at the end. Some people put a bullet on them to make sure they know they're done. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Since that's done trickling, I didn't want to hit the table. I'm going to set a bullet on top. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take that back because these are kind of close together. Oh, wait, yeah, my funnel will fit, so I will do that. So now we got the 22.1. Drop that on there again. Wait for this to zero out. There we go. I'm going to put my bullet in that so I know that one's done. Alright, and this is one reason why I wanted this Frankfurt Arsenal teledropper, because it goes a lot quicker than me trying to trickle these. Alright, we're stable. We'll hit that again. There we go. Now, do you guys like hand trickling, or do you like these electronic scales here? I did double check this with a different scale. I always do that just because it is electronic. but I did verify with a different scale that the charges are on. And with these, they're good to plus or minus a tenth. So I'm pretty good with what they are on it. And we got one more for this charge here. I think what I'm going to do for the rest of the charges, since we got 20 of these to do and it takes a while, after this one here, I'm just going to speedy mode past the rest of them for you guys. Because there's no reason to watch me do this a few more times. So now we got those 5 done. What I need to do now is the next one we are using 23.5 grain. So that's what I'm going to change this to. 23.5. So now we're good on that. So now I'm going to put you guys in time lapse and show you the rest of this in speedy mode. Now we got the powder charges and all of these. Let's move on to bullet seating and crimping. Now I got the Hornady, I'll move this here, the Hornady bullet seating and crimping die. Now this time around, I normally don't do this. Normally I seat the bullet in one step, crimp it in the next, but usually I use a Lee Factory crimp die. I don't have a Lee Factory crimp die yet for this, so I already got this set up to seat the bullet and to crimp it. Using full metal jackets like we are today, it's not that bad, but definitely with cast bullets, I like doing them in separate steps, so sooner or later I will be ordering a Lee Factory crimp die to do the crimp at the end. So now we'll just do 20 of these. Be real careful here. We are seating them and crimping them just like that. So now what I want to do is I want to make sure, because I'm always leery of setting dies up beforehand. If we're going to be dead on, we're looking at 1.600 for the overall length on these. And you can see right there, this is why I don't like doing these die setups. So I'm going to back that off a little bit and see if we can get it set up a little bit better. I'll be right back. Alright, on the second time around there, we got 1.601. That is close enough. I am not going to chase that right there. So I nailed it on the second one here. That might throw it off a little bit on that first one, but that's alright. We're just trying to figure this out because, like I said, this is a bunch of firsts, and I am not used to these dies at all. So I think I came pretty close on there. But yeah, I don't have like the Hornady lock and load die setup or anything on these, and I'm always leery of setting the die up, taking them out, and then putting them back in and them not being set to exact. Another thing I did wrong there, and I will show you guys here real quick where the difference could have been on it. I'm using Starline brass, and when I made my dummy round, I can tell you right now that's probably where the difference came from. This is a Federal Champion nickel case I made my dummy round up with. So right there is probably where the difference is in the brass on there. I should have probably checked that before I started, but that's alright. That's why I leave this stuff in for you guys to learn. I should have made my dummy round with Starline brass, but the whole problem I had is I didn't have enough brass and I didn't feel like messing with it. But that's alright. That's the way we learn. Like I said, I'm throwing off a little bit because normally I use 4 dies, not 3. But right now, so far with these Hornady dies, I don't have no issues with them. I think they're pretty good dies. Seem to do what's advertised. A lot of people get wrapped up into cheap dies, expensive dies. I can tell you guys right now, for planking dies, if you're just planking, just go ahead and get a set of Lees. There's nothing wrong with Lees. I just bought the Hornady because my local farm store is where I buy a lot of my dies now, because I like having them now instead of waiting for them online. And they only carry RCBS and Hornady dies there. And they didn't have the RCBS ones in 44 mag, so that's why I went with the Hornady. And I was like, hey, that'll give me a chance to try out something a little bit different. So I had no issues with that. Always good to try something out new. And we are on our last one here. And I'll show you that. And I want you guys to take a look at it here. I don't know if I can get this to focus or not. But one thing with 44 Magnum, I don't know if you guys can see the crimp on there. Let me know if you guys think that's a good enough crimp or not. I know with full power loads you want a heavier crimp. But leave a comment down below. Like I said, this is the first time doing it. Now we got these loaded up. Let's take them outside and run them across the chronograph. Alright, now we're outside here and the wind is blowing, but I wanted to get this test done. I'll try to knock it out the best I can in editing. So we're loading this up and shooting for the first time. We have 2.1 grains of H110 with the 240gr XTP bullet. And this is the first shots I'm putting through this gun. This gun is used, but it is the first shots for me. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to do the first ones in single action. I'll probably do them all in single action. All right, first 44 mag reload test right here. Let's go. All right, we got 1301 or 1303, sorry. 1312. 1271. Didn't get a read on that one. 1306. All right, a little bit of a flinch there. Not used to shooting these. Well, those weren't too bad at all though for my first 44 mags through here. Let's check these numbers out. All right, we had a high of 1312, low of 1271, average of 1298, stream spread of 41, and a standard deviation of 15. And a little bit high on that. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. All right, now we've got 23.5 grains here of H110. Looks like those ones, I would say more than likely were shooting high, and that could be me because I'm not used to the gun. But we will see how that goes here. Get these loaded up. Get that lined up here. All right. Second round here, let's see how these do. 1355, 1394, 1357, 1339, 1351. All right, big flinch again. I'm shaky again today. Let's go ahead and see what these numbers look like. All right, on those we had a high of 1394, a low of 1339, average of 1359, stream spread of 55, and a standard deviation 18. Not as good as the first ones. Let's move on to the next round. All right, now we've got 24.1 grains of H110 on these. And I can tell you right now, so far, not as bad as I thought they were going to be. I'm a little bit shaky today, that's about all. But for the actual rounds, it's not hurting my hand or anything right now. So let's get ready and do round 3 here. $13.76, $14.03, $13.61, $13.55, and $13.23. Those were all over the place on that one. All right, those we had a high of $14.03, low of $13.23. That's going to kill it. Average of $13.63, extreme spread of 80, and a standard deviation of 26. Getting absolutely horrible. Well, we got the max load next. Let's try that out and see what that does. Now we're loading up the max load here in the Hornady manual, and these are 24.8 grains. So far, definitely not as bad as I thought these were going to be. Could be the weight of the gun and stuff, but pretty impressed on how these are shooting right now. All right, last ladder. Let's do this here. 1396, 1434, 1432, 1399, and 1423. That should have been the last one. All right, let's go ahead and check these numbers out. All right, and those we had a high of 1434, a low of 1396, average of 1416, stream spread of 38, and a standard deviation of 16. I would definitely just go with this max load out of the Hornady book if I was going to reload these. Let's go ahead and finish out this video, and I'll give you my final thoughts. Before I give you my final thoughts, if you hear a noise in the background, my father-in-law started grading his driveway, and that's what you're hearing. So, what's my final thoughts here? Shooting the Ruger RedHawk for the first time and doing my first ladder test of my first reloads and the first everything with these. I give it a thumbs up. I like it. The numbers weren't that great at all. I could probably bring them down if I find a different powder, but this was the first time I've used the Hornady dies. First time I've used a lot of this stuff. Like I said, there's a lot of firsts in this. First time shooting this. Now, as for the actual shooting the gun, even the full power loads, I did not think it was that bad. Now, it could be because I got my Ruger RedHawk Bisley, and I shoot 255 grain bullets out of that with a Ruger only load, and they're doing over 1,500 feet per second. So this one tickling the 1,400 feet per second didn't seem near as bad, so I think I'm just going to go with the full power loads out of the Hornady manual. Now, I will look at other data and see if I can find anything that's different with the H110. If you would like to see different powders, leave a comment down below, because I might try Little Gun or 4227 IMR, or I definitely will try the Accurate number 9, because I do have that on hand. The other two I would have to buy. But once again, I'm sure I'll get my hands on different bullets and different powders, and we can keep doing this testing. The next video we're going to do on this, I'm going to load 25 up of the max charge on that, and head over to my main channel, and when I come out with that video, it'll be over there, and that's where I'll give my full shooting impressions of it, of the first shots of that. Just go ahead and shoot at all the targets out. So as always, don't forget to check the links out down below. Down there I have links to Axel Hearing Protection, Warbird Eyewear, and a bunch of other companies I like dealing with. Some got discount codes to save you guys money. Others are affiliate accounts that do help out the channel. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Leave a comment down below. We are One Nation Under God, and I'll see you all on the next one.